Ross, I don't know if you liked offense. I don't know if you enjoyed that win against the Indianapolis Colts, but it seems like this is how the Patriots plan on winning football games these days. Your take from this game?
Well, this is how they used to try to win football games, right? I mean, even in the early years of Brady, this is kind of how they did it. The defense is really good, special teams excellent, offense primarily based on the ground game, and the quarterback kind of just does enough and doesn't make the critical mistakes. I feel like we're going back 20 years here. I mean, this is like the 2001 team to some extent.
Wow. I was going to say, looking back at that 2001 team, they're probably going to be insulted by that comment. You think you're comparing us to this team? It does seem pretty far-fetched, but it's defense and special teams, even with a punter that can't really punt that well, right?
Well, I don't spend a ton of time breaking down the punter, Christian, but
I thought you were all 22. Wait, are you all 22 crew?
Hey, listen. I will say this. They're not as good as the 2001 team, obviously. But while the 2001 team was doing what they were doing, nobody was actually thinking they were really that good. If you remember, everybody's highly skeptical. People thought they should put Bledsoe back in. This team right now is a poor man's 2001 team. That's what they remind me of.
So we were just talking about the Patriots defense, how much we should buy into them. Like they're second in sacks behind the Cowboys, third in interceptions. They have 11 so far on the season. Where would you rank this defense? And do you think that those numbers are based on the level of quarterback talent they've gone against?
I think that's a fair question because I always look at so many of these, league-wide stats, and even in college, right? And a lot of it is it's not a complete sample size. It's based on who you've played so far, but it's still pretty impressive what they've done overall. I mean, they still have been pretty darn good on that side of the ball, and even just watching them on tape, it's impressive. I mean, we already knew about Judon, but Uche is starting to really do some things. Wise had some really impressive reps. I think Godchaux's a pretty good player. I mean, their D-line is pretty legit, actually, and they've got some good defensive backs, especially the young kids. I'm impressed. They got a good mix right now, especially the D-line and on the back end.
We're talking to Ross Tucker here on the Harbor One Hotline. And Ross, a lot of this year has been spent debating about this quarterback position here, Mac Jones, and what he is. Now, I believe he's his offensive line is a mess. His offensive coaching staff, I don't really trust or believe in. I also don't think he's playing very well. How would you evaluate this quarterback here going into the bye?
Very hard to do because of the reasons you just listed.
Right.
Very hard to do. I mean, I would agree with you, Lou. I don't think he is playing that great. And I think something does need to change. I guess the question you have to ask yourself is, what is that, right? I don't think they're going to bench Mac, and I don't know that they're going to change the play calling, although that wouldn't shock me if Bill made some type of change in that regard, during the bye. He's not the type to think just because we won, I don't need to do anything here. And I am so fascinated by these comments he's making about, the last couple teams they played, the Jets and the Colts, and definitely Leonard, knowing what play was coming.
Yeah.
That is bizarre. I mean, first of all, it's bizarre that he thinks that, but Bill doesn't say something like that for the heck of it. I'm racking my brain trying to figure out why he would say that publicly like that and what he thinks he's getting from that or benefiting from.
And did you come up with did you get an answer?
We were surprised he even answered the question, but he sort of made it sound like, good defensive players do. We were surprised too.
I am stunned. I don't know if he's trying to put Patricia on notice or setting the stage to switch, but I mean, it's really a terrible look, right, for a coach. I mean, it's a terrible look to feel like. Now, I remember best guy I ever played against was Ray Lewis, and it felt like I started at center against him one time when I was in Buffalo, and it felt like he called out our play half the time, to the point where I told the coaches, you guys better switch up a formation or a motion or something. So I do think that really good players, can put in the prep and have a pretty good feel for what you're doing. But for Bill to say that like that and to say it 2 weeks in a row, although I don't know, maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's like, hey, they know the plays. We're still winning. We're still beating the Jets bad. We're still beating the Colts. I'm like blown away because he never offers up anything, and he like offered it up. It's really weird.
Yeah, there's a reason for everything that he does, right? It's not random or by coincidence. So we're talking to Ross Tucker, Odyssey NFL insider. So Jeff Saturday, interim coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Like, is this the ultimate sign of tanking, or is this like a sign that Jim Irsay really should have his team taken away from him?
It's a sign that Jim Irsay needs to have a sit down with somebody. Yeah, I mean, look, here's what's really crazy about it. Okay, I have it on. I talked to some people a couple weeks ago. They made Frank Reich bench. Irsay made Frank Reich bench Matt Ryan for Ellinger, who clearly is not ready and not good. Which to me, it's like, well, hold on a second. If you're Frank Reich's been a pretty good coach for you. If he's going to go down, why don't you let him go down his way, right? Like, you're going to make him put a new quarterback in there, and then, by the way, the week later he makes them fire the offensive coordinator, who doesn't even call the play. He just fires the poor guy. Then this week he fires Reich anyway. Reich should have told him to stick it 2 weeks ago and stuck with Matt Ryan. Or if anything, if you're Reich, put in Nick Foles and maybe win a game or two.
But isn't that obvious that they don't want to win? Isn't this just eye candy? The whole, like, none of it makes sense, and therefore it's just got to be another tank for whatever big time college football quarterback is in line. Like, pick your SEC team or your ACC team or maybe USC. Like, right? I feel like this is Andrew Luck all over again.
It's possible, Christian, but then what you're trying to do right now is assign logic to a person that I believe might be illogical. And it's very dangerous. Like, the reason why we're all scratching our heads, it's really dangerous to try to figure out the logic of someone who's illogical. And I think especially when you combine this move with the press conference last night and some of the things he said, like he loves that Saturday doesn't have any experience because experienced coaches coach afraid. Like, I mean, listen, I love Jeff Saturday.
He is nuts. He's out of his mind. That owner is out of his mind. So check this out. So he's going to sit there and politic and grandstand to get rid of Dan Snyder, yet he pulls this weirdness like this. I know the other owners don't have any say in what he does, but it is kind of embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing. Look, I love Jeff Saturday. Awesome player, awesome guy. And I'm actually I love when people have outside-the-box ideas or hires. Like, let's do it.
Because they're not afraid, right?
Yeah.
No, but maybe January. Like, maybe hire Jeff Saturday in January and say, you know what? I know he doesn't have a lot of experience. I don't care. He's the right person. He knows everybody. Going to build a great coaching staff, but in the middle of the year, he doesn't even know the scheme on both sides of the ball. He doesn't know the terminology they're using. He's never had to do any type of game management other than high school. His high school team's 3-7, I think, last I checked. Like, he doesn't even know the other coaches. I hope there's cameras there, and I hope we get like a 30 for 30 or something. Like, his first meeting with the coaching staff, like Gus Bradley and John Fox, I would love to know what Jeff Saturday said to those guys. Like, the whole thing is just amazing to me. Is there some chance they're trying to lose on purpose?
Yes,
I guess so. But did he really have to hire Jeff Saturday to do that? I mean, he could have promoted Reggie Wayne.
Do you think? I mean, listen, it's cool. We're all just sort of looking at it, saying everybody loves Jeff Saturday, but how long before Jeff sort of regrets this? Like 5 weeks from now, he's like, "What did I do? Why did I do this?"
No, I thought about that, Lou, and this is genius for Jeff Saturday because either number one, somehow they start to win and he becomes the full-time guy, or number two,
talk about like
they're
logic.
They're actually okay, right? They're actually okay, and people are like, you know what? That wasn't that terrible. He's not going to be the Colts
You can't
coach,
lose,
but maybe
yeah.
Jeff Saturday should be a 1AA coach or whatever, right?
Yeah, you can't lose.
And number 3, they could really stink. And if they really stink, I would love that. Towards the end of the season, if they really,
they're
Coach
gonna
Tucker,
suck.
You're going to go with a quarterback this week. Well, this week's quarterback is Sam Ellinger, presented by the Ross Tucker podcast. I'm glad you asked. I mean, he can go right back into the media, and his name's out there again. His worst case scenario, he's actually got nothing to lose.
I think he does have a lot to lose. I do. Imagine, you're
Like
talking.
what?
Think about it. Game management situations. All right, okay. They have 8 games, Ross. You have to make the decisions. You can. I mean, breaking down film and grandstanding on ESPN is one thing. Making quick decisions against with people's lives and all these players, you're responsible for us. And this guy's going to make this decision. I think he can easily be exposed as stupid. Not that he is. But listen, it's hard to make those decisions in real time. It's easy to second guess them, Monday morning, but in real time, can you imagine? Do you imagine the heat he's going to get for just making stupid mistakes? Right? Is he an analytics guy or is he a gut guy? I feel like he's risking a lot here personally, but that's me.
Could he possibly be worse than Nathaniel Hackett? No. Could he be worse than what the Colts put forth on that field on Sunday in Foxborough? That would be hard to do. I mean, heck, McDaniels has been doing this forever, and he and the Raiders are a disaster in Las Vegas. They gave up their third 17-point lead. He's coming into it with no expectations. Game management decisions, they're going to be down by 20. The decision is to try to throw it and maybe score. I mean, I don't know.
All right.
I hear what you're saying, but I would love it. If anybody listening right now, I am willing to be the next interim head coach of the New England Patriots.
Me too.
Right now.
And next week, it'll be Josh McDaniels versus Jeff Saturday as the Colts take on the Raiders. Ross, listen, always a pleasure, man. We enjoy talking to you every Tuesday. Have a good one.
See you, dude.
All right, here it is, Ross Tucker.